Give me the coffee.
I know. We'll just share it.
Okay, so we'll welcome everybody that's here today in the room and online. And we will just stand for the affirmation. Councillor Jack Blake will read this affirmation.
We recognise the traditional owners of the land. We are inspired by the early pioneers and by those who gave their lives for our country. We now ask God's blessing on our deliberation and on our commitment to build a better lifestyle and environment.
Thank you. This council meeting is being recorded and live streamed to Council's YouTube channel. The recording will also be made available on Council's website. While all care has been taken to ensure that your privacy is maintained, please be aware that your presence may be recorded. Item 1, apologies and leave of absence. Do we have any apologies and leaves of absence? No. Item 2, confirmation of minutes for the council meeting held on Monday the 3rd of June 2025. So if we could have somebody please confirm that meeting.
Happy to confirm that the minutes of the meeting are accurate.
Thank you, Councillor Emerson. Someone to second that?
Yes, I'll second that. They're correct. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Blake. Those in favour? That's carried. Any matters arising from the minutes? None. There's no presentations or awards. There's no presentation of petitions and joint letters. So we go to item 6, disclosure of a conflict of interest at a council meeting. Does anyone have a conflict of interest that they need to disclose? No conflicts of interest. Item 7, informal meetings of councillors. So we have a resolution there. Just somebody to move that the report on informal meetings of councillors be approved.
I move that we approve the report of the informal meetings.
Thank you, Councillor Probst. Is someone to second that motion?
Yes, I'll second it. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Blake. All in favour? That's carried. There's no items brought forward. We go to number 9, consideration of reports of officers. So 9.1, enhanced lifestyles and community. 9.1.1, Walkers Lake Advisory Group terms of reference. So we have an officer's report there and we have a recommendation. Is somebody to move that recommendation?
Lake Advisory Group terms of reference.
Thank you, Councillor Probst.
Happy to second.
Thank you, Councillor Emerson. Councillor Probst, did you wish to speak to the motion?
Just to say that it's the regular 4-year review of the terms of reference, and it's only a couple of small changes, mainly the director and officer who's we report to for the group.
Councillor Emerson, did you wish to speak to the motion?
Nothing further, only just to add, people from within the community should be showing an interest in joining the organisation.
Any other councillor wish to speak for or against the motion? Councillor Probst, did you wish to sum up? So show of hands, those in favour? That's carried. So 9.4, improve organisational effectiveness. Fraud, 9.4.1, fraud prevention policy. I have an officer's report and a recommendation there as well.
I recommend that Council adopts the revised fraud prevention policy.
Thank you, Councillor Hyde.
And I will second that. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Blake. Councillor Hyde, did you wish to speak to the motion?
Just to note that there were just some small changes due to the Act referencing changes, so more of a protocol just to to enhance, just to follow in line with what we need to do. So those changes were made.
Yes, and I would just like to thank everyone involved by bringing it the fraud to our attention in-house and the organisation to make sure that we're all aware of what's going on. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Blake. A very important policy. Any other councillor wish to speak for or against?
Thank you, Mayor. I'd just like to add that I think in a local government with a turnover of $24 million, I think this is a very, very important policy. I would like all public to know that we are committed to the prevention, detection and investigation of any fraudulent activity. There's certainly been none, and we certainly want to keep it that way. The council takes a zero tolerance approach for any issues of fraud or corruption. So I commend this policy to council.
Thank you. Any other councillor wish to speak? Councillor Hyde, did you wish to sum up?
Nothing further to add, Mayor.
Okay, show of hands. Those in favour? That's carried. So 9.4.2, cemetery fees amendment. We have a report there and a recommendation and a couple of options. If someone would like to move the recommendation.
Yes, thank you, Mayor. I'd like to move that we as the council endorses the Pleasant Creek, Stawell and St Arnaud Cemeteries fee justification models and the 2025-26 council memorial fees subject to the Department of Health approval.
Thank you, Councillor Greenberger. Someone like to second that?
I'm happy to second that, Mayor.
Thank you, Councillor Hyde. Councillor Greenberger, would you like to speak to the motion?
Thank you, Mayor. This motion refers to the Northern Grampians Shire Council Cemeteries fee for the right of interment and memorial permits. Northern Grampians Shire has been always the cemetery trust for the Pleasant Creek Cemetery here in Stawell and also the St Arnaud Cemetery. These fee adjustments are in accordance with the Department of Health memorial permit fee model and scale of fees. And basically this motion brings our fee structure in line with what's recommended by the department. So that's the adjustment that's occurred at this point, and I therefore recommend this motion to council.
Thank you, Councillor Greenberger. Councillor Hyde, did you wish to?
No, I think Councillor Greenberger did sum that up nicely. Thank you.
Okay, any other councillor wish to speak for or against the motion? Councillor Greenberger, did you wish to sum up?
Thank you, Mayor. I did omit to also point out that this new fee structure is in line with the department's model, but it also means that this service provided by council is cost neutral to council. And I think that's a very important consideration with regards to the cost of living pressures on our ratepayers. I'm sure we all agree that the cost of Funerals are very expensive. However, I think that it's important for all ratepayers to know that the fees that we are charging means that there are no additional burden on ratepayers generally to cover this service that we provide. Thank you.
Thank you for that very important point. So I'll now call for a show of hands. Those in favour? That's carried. So 9.4.3, Sloane Street stall land sale. Have a report there and a recommendation.
Thank you, Mayor. I'd like to move that Council announces its intention to sell the land located at 83 to 85 Sloane Street stall and invite submissions regarding the sale of that land.
Thank you, Councillor Greenberger. Someone like to second that motion?
I'm happy to second that motion.
Thank you, Councillor Probes. Councillor Greenberger, would you like to address Council on the motion?
Yes, thank you, Mayor. I know this is actually the first part in a statutory process that Council needs to take in order to sell that parcel of land. And Council invites submissions from any members of the public who would like to make a submission in regards to that sale. And also, I'm sure if you have any inquiries about it, then Council officers would be very happy to answer any questions. So I commend the motion to Council. Thank you.
Councillor Probst, would you like to speak to the motion?
No, Jenny said it all.
Okay. Any other councillor wish to speak for or against the motion? Councillor Emerson?
Yes, thank you. I'll be speaking for the motion. Just quickly, the Sloane Street development's had a bit of a history over the years. We're now looking for a bit of clear air so we can move forward into providing some outstanding housing for the community.
Well said. Any other councillors wish to speak? Councillor Greenberger, do you wish to sum up?
No, nothing further. Thank you, Mayor.
Okay, I'll now call for a show of hands. Those in favour? That's carried. We have no notices of motion or rescission. So we'll go to reports from councillors and committees. So Councillor Emerson, did you want to start the reports?
Nothing from me, thanks.
Councillor Blake?
Yeah, no, it's, yeah, nothing for me. I just, I commend the job that everyone's doing. Thank you very much.
Councillor Hyde?
Apologies for the voice, everybody. The last month I have attended the Hallsgut Community Association meeting and the Hallsgut Residents and Ratepayers meeting out there, which is always quite productive to hear from the community in their needs that I can communicate back and we can work together. Also, we have been busy in the space in regards to our renewable and transmission line space. We have been visiting local MP Martha Haylett, and also we did speak to Minister Lily D'Ambrosio, among many other meetings, including the community reference group that myself and Councillor Greenberger attended. So very busy month in that area. I personally also completed the second part of the Australian Rural Leadership Program that was a two-part program that I was provided a place for, so it didn't cost council. I was awarded that place, so I was very proud to take that course on and complete that training, which had an emphasis on our rural community here, particularly in the Grampians, Wimmera, Mallee area, in particular in relation to drought and farming was the emphasis in this leadership course. So I found it very insightful and enjoyable to collaborate with local, other locals and community members as well. We've done some mandatory counselling training, of course, and to finish on a fun, positive note, well done for WAMA opening up recently. If you haven't gone out there, please try and find it in your space to do so. There is a very small fee for locals to attend, and also congratulations to the Halls Gap community. It's a bunch of locals and some business owners there who have put together a whole 2-month festival of events called Glow. So check out Glow Halls Gap. And it's really rewarding to see what a few people can do, where they've collectively spoken to the entire network of businesses and residents out there, and there are over 200 individual events over that 2-month period that have been put together collectively with the support of funding from Council, thank you Northern Grampians Shire, and of course Regional Arts Australia has also, and some great sponsorship with local media. So very proud of my community and what they are achieving out there. So please try and get out there in the winter sunset to see all the lights and everything glowing. Thank you.
Councillor Greenberger.
Yes, thank you, Mayor. I'm not sure whether people are aware, but we actually have over 100 people who watch the live stream recording of our council meetings. And it is for this reason that I like to take the opportunity to share some insight to people about my role as a councillor, and certainly how much I enjoy that role for the opportunities that it gives me to be involved in activities in the community. To begin with though, today I want to thank my colleagues for covering my work over the previous 6 weeks when I was absent. We as councillors have a lot of requests for council support and also invitations to events. And when one person is away, that means the other 5 have extra work to do. So first of all, let me thank you all for covering for my absence. And in case anybody is interested, my son's wedding was absolutely fantastic and I wouldn't have missed it for the world. I've been back 3 weeks and already there's been some amazing highlights. And I want to just say how much joy I experience about being a councillor and having the opportunity to attend these activities. And I'm only mentioning 3, there are others, but I won't take up too much of your time. The first one I want to mention is the St Arnaud Let's Talk About Big Weather. I was gobsmacked on arrival to see the beautiful St Arnaud Town Hall full of tables, full of secondary students. All of St Arnaud Secondary College's years 7s to 10s, as well as other community members. The event was on from 11 till 12:30, including food. It was short and sharp to be responsive to the attention span of this age of adolescence. There was an engaging presenter, young at heart, from the Make a Change Australia was the MC. There were some inspiring introductory speakers. One Year 12 student from St Arnaud Secondary College, her name is Dusty Rain, and she told us that she was born on the day of a massive dust storm followed by rain, and so that was the name her parents chose to give her. Now, how many young people would be horrified to think that they were given such an unusual name, but not Dusty Rain? She spoke so proudly and articulately about her interest in this topic, big weather. She was truly inspiring. There was also a young woman from Bendigo Youth Council. Our sneak preview council plan includes feedback from our community about engaging our young people in leadership, and this young woman was really inspiring, and it really inspired me to make sure that we try and engage with our young people to take on these leadership roles. And then in table groups, the students were asked to draw or write about how they felt the community can be resilient in managing these big weather events. And the feedback from the tables was excellent. Many students from farms talking about the ways they and their families prepare. Now, my table, and most of you know I'm a retired teacher, and I looked around the room and I was trying to pick out a table where I wouldn't be sitting with a group of disengaged young people, and blow me down, what happened? I ended up on a table of young Year 7 and 8 boys. One boy was the talker. Talk, couldn't shut him up. And the other boys were the ones that were sitting, totally disengaged, fidgeting, wriggling, really, they just did not want to be there. So me being teacher, I go around and get them all to tell me a couple of ideas, and then I get to the last boy and the other kids say to me, he doesn't speak. And so I said to him, oh, that's okay, here's a bit of paper, you write down what you think. And he wrote in this scribbly writing, pack a bag. So even that little boy was engaged in this event. So in my view, it was a brilliant event, and I'm sure the teachers present would have really built on that day of opportunity. And you know what? I want to congratulate the staff of Northern Grampians Shire, because this was funding that we received through flood recovery. And what an important activity for the young people of Sonala to be engaged in something like that. The second thing I want to mention is NAIDOC Week. You'll see I'm wearing my NAIDOC Week sticker here. And last Wednesday, this is another one about young people. I went to North Park and there were a whole gathering of young people and their families from First Nations background. And that was another initiative which was organised by our Northern Grampians Shire Activities Coordinator, along with the First Nations support person from Stawell Secondary College. There were, and I didn't know this, but there are 20 plus First Nations children who attend Stawell West Primary School, and quite a large cohort at the secondary college as well. The older students did a great job of welcoming everyone to country. A group of older students got to work with a First Nations chef to provide Indigenous foods on the day. There were an array of hands painted with First Nations rock art symbols, and these are all on display at the Stawell Library. So again, a wonderful activity supported by Northern Grampians Shire, and I really do think we need to acknowledge and celebrate the terrific opportunities that are created in the community from the small amounts of funding that we get. And like Councillor Hyde, I just also wanted to comment on the opening of WAMA. We'd already seen the facilities a few weeks ago, but now it is open to the public. And as Greg Lewin spoke, it has been 14 years since the vision was first formed. Hours and hours of work by volunteers, both local and much further afield. And it's just such a fantastic opportunity for our local government area, so close to the Grampians National Park, and it is beautiful. The opening exhibition is amazing, and so I really commend all of our local people to get out there and see it. But why am I so passionate about sharing with you about this achievement? It is a wonderful addition to the experiences that will attract visitors to our area, and it will bring in a lot of additional dollars, a huge economic benefit. But for me, I'm so impressed with the group of young people who are working there, or maybe not so young, everyone seems young to me these days. From the experience of the manager, Pippa Mott, who comes to us with amazing gallery experience. But I also met two young women I spoke to, and both had moved to the area because they and their families love this place. And how wonderful it is for them to be able to find employment that so suits their skill set. And that is a very unique experience when you move to a rural area. And I also want to make mention of a young local man, Ben Mackley, whose family have lived here forever. He trained as a landscape gardener, and now he's the manager of WAMA facilities and also the Indigenous Garden. It's a beautiful facility, something I think we all should be very, very proud of. I know Northern Grampians Shire did play a part in obtaining the funding to have it built, but I really want to encourage the community to get behind it. Take your visitors, go and see it yourself. And I'll conclude by saying Northern Grampians Shire is a wonderful place to live, and I'm so glad to represent council at these amazing events and celebrations. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Greenberger. Councillor Promes.
It's hard to believe it was only a month ago that we passed the motion about the VNI West transmission lines. Councillor Hyde's already mentioned that since then we've met with Arthur Maylett, Minister Lilly, TCV, so that's a continuing process that we're working through. I was also going to mention the big weather event. Jenny has said it a lot more eloquently than what I could, because I was just going to say it was a wonderful day to interact with the school kids and hear what their thoughts were on it. And I think it's really easy for us to sit back and think, oh, but kids, you don't quite understand it, or you could think about this or that. But the whole point of it is that the kids are taking the initiative and doing what they need to do, because it is their future. As my son tells me all the time, us baby boomers stuffed it up. We should have done more in the past. It's up to the kids now to do that. And it was really good to see them being involved, and I thought it was really interesting that they asked us to draw pictures of that. It brought me back to Pictionary days. But it was good to see the kids drawing their pictures and the ideas that they have on what they can actually do to make the future a bit better. That was also a very social day because it was over in St Arnaud. We also had the community kitchen, so Justine and Jenny and myself went to the community kitchen lunch, which is where I get to have a regular Tuesday home-cooked meal. Brent made it just a little bit later. Sorry, Brent was there. And because I was also going to follow on with after that, Brent and I went up to the Bible Museum, and it's just wonderful to see the passion of Jean and Alan there. And you might think Bible Museum, Christian, boring, but there is so much history in there regardless of whether you're a Christian or not, and the history they've got, and the old scrolls that you can touch, and it's just amazing, their knowledge. But they also have a butterfly house, and so in recent months the monarch butterfly travels, it travels wherever it travels, but it actually stopped in St Arnaud for quite a substantial period, and this is really quite a big thing in the butterfly world, and Jean and Alan are up there with butterfly people, and they know all about and have all the contacts. So like St Arnaud scan meetings have been talking about a big thing in St Arnaud, and so the talk now is about a big butterfly, but also building on that and having the butterfly garden, having training for butterflies, research and that sort of stuff. So it's quite exciting to see where that will go, particularly because there's community people who are excited about it, because as a council we can support, we can advocate, but we can't do it or can't do everything. So it's really exciting that there's committed, enthusiastic people in the community. They were kind of the bigger things, and there's the standard, little things that we get to go to, like the Lions changeover dinner. But what I found really interesting about that one is they were talking about the skin cancer bus, and I always assumed that was like the mammogram bus, like a state government initiated thing where the government funds it, you go get your mammogram, whatever. I thought the skin check bus was the same, but it's not. It's totally run by Lions clubs. Only volunteer donations keep it on the road, and it's coming to St Arnaud in about October, so if you need to get your skin checked for skin cancer, save October and make a donation to them, because that's what keeps them operating. The other really exciting thing was going and presenting flowers to Kevin Allen, who turned 100 years old. Karen, the two Karens were there. That will do for this month.
Thank you, Councillor Probes. And it was really exciting to be able to go and give Kevin flowers on his 100th birthday. And that week I also had another 100th birthday and a 90th birthday, and all the people were still at home, all really happy, had really interesting conversations about what they've done in the past. It just amazes me. People are so resilient, and when you look at what they've done in a lifetime, they should be really, really proud of what they have achieved. They all have really, really interesting stories to to tell, and it was one of the highlights of this month is actually going there and being able to do that with our community. Also wanted to just touch base on what Councillor Greenberger said about staff. I'm thanking staff for going above and beyond and doing what they do. I went to the staff recognition and reward ceremony, and that really highlights what we've done over the whole year, and it's absolutely amazing. You just look and think, my gosh, have we done all that in a year? It just goes on and on and on, and you know, every service and every area in the Northern Grampians Shire, what we've achieved in the year and what staff have achieved in the year, it's just, yeah, absolutely amazing, and just made me really proud to be part of the organisation that does go above and beyond to represent our community and to work for our community. Also had an Audit and Risk Committee meeting with Councillor Probes. I won't go into that. Sort of quite a long meeting. It was a really long meeting this month. Discussed lots, and yeah, there was like loads and loads of reading and lots of conversations, but I do like the Audit and Risk Committee meeting. It does show that we are in a good place in lots of different ways, and they're really constructive meetings. So I also had a mayoral advisory panel meeting in Melbourne with Nick Stakos and 9 other mayors, and a long day up in Melbourne and back, but the meetings, the advisory panel meetings, I really enjoy them. I really get a lot out of them and also put a lot back in. I can't say what we discussed because it's confidential, but I do really like the meetings and I find them really, really, really worthwhile. And I think we talk about a lot of things in conversations, but all really, really important. Also had a lot of requests this month from people, just in general. I won't go through what the requests are, but you all get lots of requests here and there, and this month seems to be a busy month, which means you've got a lot of follow-up, a lot of getting back to people. But yeah, I like it when people do reach out and do say, you know, do ask if we can get things done. That's what we're there for. We're there to represent our communities, so I actually like getting requests. Also, just want to highlight what Councillor Greenberger and Councillor Hive said about WAMA, Wildlife Arts Museum. Look, it's been a concept that has evolved and grown over the years. I remember when they first came to council, which was like 10 odd so years back with this concept, and it has evolved and grown over the years. But look, it's so great to go out there and actually see the exhibition. Very proud of what they've achieved. I'm very excited that they have officially opened, and I do hope that people go out there and have a look. Well worth a look, and very proud for them to be in this space. So that's my report. So I now have a resolution that the reports be received. Need someone to move that the reports be received.
Thank you, Mayor. I report that that council reports be received.
Thank you, Councillor Greenberger. Just someone to second that.
Yeah, I'll second that.
Thank you, Councillor Blake. Just show of hands that be moved. Thank you. Urgent business. No urgent business, so we'll go to public question time. So, public question time, there should be maximum 3 questions at any one meeting. Presentation of each question shall not exceed 2 minutes. Speaker can provide a brief background to the question. And I will ask Jane Fallon if you wanted to come out and read your 3 questions. So, Lauren, I just wonder if you could send the 2 other questions around without notice.
Jane Sutherland, 64 Elmer Street, St Arnaud, resident. A little background to my first question with notice is in regard to the pedestrian crossing in Napier Street, St Arnaud. At our last SCAN meeting, a resident of St Arnaud had an incident where she was nearly run over on the pedestrian crossing, and the same thing happened to me as well the following day after the scan meeting, where I went onto the crossing. To my right, the car had stopped, but as I got to the middle, 3 cars coming, I thought the first is not going to stop, and it didn't. It went straight across in front of me. So my question is, in regard to that, when will the Northern Grampians Shire acknowledge that the pharmacy pedestrian crossing in Napier Street, St Arnaud, is very dangerous to users and apply much needed flashing lights, repair work and new paint?
So Trent Whittle will respond to that, Jane.
Yes, happy to respond. So concerns that the crossing have been raised historically a little bit. So back in 2022, Council engaged a traffic engineer to undertake a comprehensive assessment of the existing conditions and proposed works at the intersection of Napier and Elmer with a focus on road safety improvements. Design options were evaluated to enhance safety, acknowledging that prior work had already been done, have been completed to improve pedestrian safety movements and reduce vehicle speeds on Napier Street, which is the installation of the raised crossing that you mentioned. The design options were assessed using industry standard criteria that score both existing conditions and proposed improvements. The data indicated that while conditions are relatively safe, the introduction of a large raised safety platform across the entire intersection of Napier and Elmer Street is expected to significantly enhance safety. Typically, flashing lights on pedestrian crossings are used in high-speed environments without raised platforms. In contrast, a raised platform are purpose-built for low-speed environments to reduce the severity of consequences in the event an accident occurs. So although there have been anecdotal reports of near misses, your examples show that, involving pedestrians at the intersections, the crash data shows no recorded casualty injury crashes at Elmer Street over the past 8 years. As a result, the independent consultant recommended that installing a large raised safety platform across the full intersection or installing flashing lights would not be a cost-effective solution for the level of increased safety that would be achieved. The existing raised platform with a pedestrian crossing was a successful countermeasure for the time being, and Council accepted that advice at the time. However, we've recently looked at the approach signage and made some adjustments to improve visibility, so signage has moved. A few years back, we trialled some thermoplastic line marking to try and make the line marking pop and more predominant. This can do with a review, there's no doubt about that, and we'll be looking at doing so.
Okay, so that was your question with notice. You've got 2 questions without notice. So if you just want to read them out, and we'll get a reply to you in writing.
Okay. So question 1 is, will there be enough of the $1.9 million state funding and $650,000 Northern Grampians Shire funding to complete the essential renovations, e.g. disability access, leakage issues and tiling at the St Arnaud pool, and keep it functioning after non-essential cosmetic improvements on the change rooms? That's question 1. And question 2, are there any plans for the Northern Grampians Shire to assist the St Arnaud community while once again we have no doctors for 4 months while the community still subsidise the medical clinic? Just a little aside, locums that were due to come to St Arnaud did not come. So we have a nurse practitioner for 2 days a week. That's it.
Thank you, Jane. Okay, Ross.
Good afternoon, everyone. Ross Hudson, 11 Napier Street, St Arnaud, resident. I always fail to mention that at the start of my presentations. My apologies for being late, and I am disappointed to have missed, obviously, some reference by Councillor Greenberger to her attendance at Let's Talk Big Weather, and perhaps Councillor Hyde as well Hyde may have referred to it. My questions this meeting refer to that event. Both the event that was held on the day at the St Arnaud Town Hall, but also had been built up for some time through social media, Facebook posts and some local consultation that I'm aware of that had at least occurred with some of the community groups, including the Community Resource Centre, some month or so before the event. Was it last week or the week before? It all blurs, doesn't it? My first question is, what exactly was Northern Grampians Shire Council's role and responsibilities for the planning, preparation and delivery of all of the Let's Talk Big Weather community engagement at St Arnaud, and how successfully was that done?
Okay, so Xander Dougal will answer that question. Ross?
Good. Thanks for the question. So Northern Grampians Shire Council engaged the organisation Make a Change to design and deliver the project. Council played an advisory and facilities role in the project and supported Make a Change by providing initial contacts to help establish the local engagement and shared information on the current state of emergency and disaster management work in the region. Council staff also assisted with logistics, including organising the venue and providing catering for the event.
Okay, question 2.
Thanks, Xander. Question 2 is, what was the full cost of conducting all of the Let's Talk Big Weather program to Northern Grampians Shire Council, both in direct financial expenses and also indirectly by the total amount of staff hours and associated salary, and in addition included the extra funding that was contributed by other funding sources that were read out by the Northern Grampians Shire Council Community Health and Resilience Project Officer during her presentation at the event at St Arnaud Town Hall on 24 June 2025.
Okay, yes, Xander will respond again.
Thank you. Funding for the project was provided by the Emergency Recovery Victoria through 2 different programs. The first one was the Community Recovery Hub, and the second was the Building Resilience in Young People and Children, which also supports Lucy Gorrie's role within Council. The Building Resilience in Young People and Children program aims to equip young people and children with coping skills to handle chronic stress and future disasters, ensure they are supported by a responsive and accessible local service system, and involve them in local planning processes to foster a sense of agency and engagement. The Recovery Hub action was around building capacity and providing opportunities for communities to connect. Make a Change Australia were contacted to undertake the engagement due to their experience in facilitating the topic around big weather and the development of a youth leadership program. Council staff time, engagement, initial planning and contract development, meeting attendances and initial engagement with community members. So it wasn't too onerous for community council officers. Thank you.
Okay, thanks, Xander. Question 3.
So there was no costing information provided there. All right, thank you. I'll study the written response and obviously follow it up, because I don't think the response actually addressed a lot of what I asked in that question. Question 3, what were the learning aims and learning outcomes defined for the Let's Talk Big Weather community engagement conducted with Year 7 to 10 St Arnaud secondary school college students, a few St Arnaud primary school students, and was also attended by approximately a dozen St Arnaud residents, and how successful were they achieved, as has been established by a structured objective evaluation?
Okay, Xander will also answer that question.
Thank you, Ross. The event served as a starting point for engaging young people in discussions around disaster resilience and their role in the broader emergency management system. It was influenced by the youth strategy theme of giving young people a voice, with a focus on encouraging youth-led conversations about disasters and climate resilience. This initial engagement is intended to inform the development of future activities, including a youth leadership program. The themes and discussions from this event will be continued during Environment Week in September, where key agencies will reconnect with students to build on the education and deepen the conversation. In addition, insights gathered from event feedback and youth surveys will inform specific actions developed under the Building Resilience in Young People and Children project. Thank you.
All right, thanks, Xander. Again, I'd just like to note that I don't think the answer totally addressed what I was asking, and that may be a problem with my questioning technique. One of the concerns I'll provide now, or experience I had in case I don't get consulted along with other attendances, was the audio presentation was very poor because of microphone problems and other things associated with the setup of the venue. Thank you.
All right, thanks, Ross. Okay, so that's the end of our public question time. We now go to item 14, the closure of meeting pursuant to section 66(2)A of the Local Government Act 2020, as we have two items to discuss in closed meeting. We have a resolution.
Yeah, happy to move a motion that we go into closed council to discuss confidential matters.
Thanks, Councillor Emerson. Is someone to second that?
I'm happy to second that.
Okay. That's all right. Thank you, Councillor Hyde. Just a show of hands. Okay, that's carried. So I've just now asked the public to leave. You can come back once the closed session has concluded if you wish. But thank you.
Mr Mayor.
Thank you, Mayor. I'm pleased to report the resolutions in closed council business. 14.2, the council approve a full refund of application PA 2023077. And 14.3, the council awards contract C25009 Navarre Social Room Extension to Buildforth Pty Limited for their submitted lump sum price. Thank you.
Thank you. There being no further business, I will declare the meeting closed at 1:23 p.m.